So yeah, bro, in terms of insecurities, how do you think you dealt with them? How do you think you got rid of them from the root cause?
Right. I think like what I noticed back then, like upon reflecting on when I was like so insecure, was it was that I was doing nothing, as in like my day-to-day life, like because I didn't take school seriously. It was because I had kind of nothing going for me, like nothing to be proud of in myself. That I had a, like they say, like I think it's an idle mind is a devil's workshop, right?
Hmm.
And so like the things that you think about when you don't have anything to do all day are just wild. Like it's so far from the truth, but you can convince yourself because like you're in an echo chamber, right? Like the only one auditing your own thoughts is kind of you. So I think like that was kind of like it was the fact that I had nothing going for me that kind of made me very insecure. Is fuck, like I don't have any value to add to this person's life, and therefore like why are they with me? You know what I mean? But like now, like I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I know my value as a person. Like, and I practice gratitude a lot. Like, um, shout out to the chill cast. I think that's the name of the podcast, Kavin's podcast. His cousin Shanika said something that was really, really interesting. He said that that when you practice gratitude and you're grateful for things around you, there's literally no way that you can, be sad about anything. And that's something that really like stuck to me, because yeah, like when I practice gratitude and when I'm like, damn, like I've all of this, I've got so much to be grateful for. Let's say if you're talking to a girl or whatever, like, or a guy, whatever it is, right? Like when you're talking to whoever, like, and I'm talking in a romantic sense, it's so easy because like I feel like in a romantic sense is the easiest way for your insecurities to kind of thrive, right? That's when you feel the most vulnerable. Like when you're talking to your mates, like they don't have to reply for days and you can not care at all. But like when you're talking to a girl or a guy, it's like oh, he's not replying or she's not replying. I wonder what's going on. You know what I mean? Like that's when your insecurities are at your highest. So I guess that's and also with that mate from earlier, that's the kind of guy that, I mean, the scenario was romantic related. So I guess we'll just go down that path. But yeah, the gratitude is probably the main thing. So as soon as you start realizing that this person is not your main source of happiness and you've got so much more going for you, then it becomes so easy for you to know your self-worth. It adds a bit of confidence into you. It boosts your self-esteem, and you realize that like that you want this person in your life. You don't need this person in your life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
As soon as you start placing like a kind of value on someone else that exceeds your own value, that's when shit starts going like lopsided, because like and like even like I'm talking to a few mates. So yes, I was like actually talking to like a few mates like in the past few weeks, and that's kind of like what led up to the creation of this video as well. But like something that a few people said independently, which was crazy because it like they were like all saying it, was that even when like you're in a relationship or whatever, you want to continuously be working on yourself, because at the end of the day, like people can be married for 40-50 years and still divorced, right? But if you've got nothing, if you haven't learned anything at the end of it, or you haven't gotten anything going for you even at the end of it or throughout it all, then by the time that it ends, you're still going to be the exact same person that you were 50 years ago. And it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? And I think that growth kind of makes you feel secure in yourself because you feel like you're doing something worthwhile. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I had to say. Oh, and the other main thing is find hobbies, like find things that give you value, independently of whatever anyone else thinks. You know what I mean? So it could be something like, and the reason for this is that you're not placing, like, let's say in your life you're giving, like, if you have a pie chart of your happiness, right, and you're putting like 30% happiness into your family, 20% happiness into like your work and shit, and then you put 50% happiness in your girl, right? As soon as like you guys have a little argument, or as soon as she starts like drifting away or whatever, then you're gonna feel automatically, shit, like that's a big chunk of my happiness gone or whatever, right? And when that happens, then you start becoming insecure, and then that becomes bigger and bigger because they're such a big part of your happiness. Intrinsically and inherently, you don't want them to like you don't want to be unhappy. The whole purpose of being alive is to, like, we're all chasing our happiness, right? So automatically you become more attached, more toxic, more jealous, and you try to hold, like, the harder you try to cling on to someone, the more they try to leave. You know what I mean? Like, or the more they try to leave, the harder you try to cling on to them. I guess it's the other way around. But I think that's so true in this situation. So when you kind of find things to take chunks of happiness away, or your happiness distribution away from them. So let's say, like, because at the end of the day, I think in a relationship, your partner should just be adding on to your happiness. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be a part of your happiness. They should just be, you should already be 100% without them, but they should make you go to 110% or 120%. You know what I mean? So even if they leave or whatever, this goes back to the same notion of you wanting them in your life. You don't need them in your life. Even if they leave, that's cool. Like, it's just not meant to be. Like, everything's kind of written out the way that I see it. So like, whether they're in your life or not in your life, it doesn't matter at all. But yeah, like, you want to have kind of hobbies or whatever. If you find things that you can do independently, for me, it's like music, you know, my meditation or whatever, like reading books, all that kind of stuff. My backyard, like doing little gardening, all that kind of stuff. That's what gives me fulfillment outside of, you know, like anyone else, you know. So even if lockdown happens and we have to go back into kicking it just by ourselves all over again, it's calm, because like, it doesn't matter, you know, I've got everything I need right here. But I think, like, if you start placing a big chunk of your happiness onto someone else, then as soon as, even like lockdown, that's why I guess it stresses so many couples out or whatever, because like, a big chunk of your happiness has become this other person. So then as soon as you're not able to see them, or you're not able to communicate with them the same way that you were, or they're busier or whatever, automatically that's going to cause a rift, and that's going to cause problems, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, like, if you find things that are hobbies that you can do, like learn an instrument, or learn how to cook, or, you know, go for walks, do kind of those kinds of things, just to work on yourself, I guess, continually, then you'll, like, that automatically, I feel like, just the less time you have to think about problems that aren't there, the better it is for everyone. I guess that's what I'm.
Yeah, for sure. Those are some amazing advice, bro. It's like, it's difficult to pinpoint advice because it's different to everybody. Everybody has different insecurities, but yeah, those are some great points, man, for sure.
Thanks, bro. And what about you, bro? What do you reckon? Like, what do you think are ways to deal with insecurities and all that stuff?
I guess it's very similar to what you said, but I think the easiest way to deal with insecurities, or the way you kind of get rid of them wholly, is just to understand, like, is to not place more importance on anything outside yourself, pretty much. Like,
Thanks.
Everyone says focus on yourself, but we don't really take that advice. We don't really take it for what it is. Like, remember this quote, if I can remember it. Hold on. It's coming to me. One sec.
Loading. Buffer.
Loading. Oh yeah. So the quote is, I am my everything, for I must be. Because at the end of the day, no one steps into the casket with you, right? No one can develop you except for you. So no one deals with your insecurities except for you. It's just how it is. And you have to bear the consequences of them as well. As well as other people having to deal with it too. Because like we said, pushing people away is a two-sided street. Like, your own insecurities reflect into your life, but they also impact the people around you as well. So focus on yourself at the end of the day. Like, that's really how you deal with the insecurities. That's how you, once you find out who you are, you take the time to realize, like, at what stages do I become insecure? Like, why do I become insecure? What is this recurring cycle of insecurity like? Why does this always come back up for me? It's always some like deep-rooted thing, you know? It's not something that is so surface level that you can just be like, oh, yeah, this is why I'm insecure. It's always something a bit deeper. It's always something a bit, maybe something from your like high school years, or childhood, something like that, right? Once you discover what that is, then that's how you really deal with it. But the way you get to that level is by focusing on yourself. You got to understand who you are and why that insecurity came up within you however long ago, right? So yeah, that's the first thing. First piece of advice is focus on yourself and realize that you have your own back at the end of the day, right? Second piece of advice is if you're an overthinker, right? There's another saying where it's like, thinking in the future leads to anxiety. Thinking in the past leads to depression. So the only place you should be is the present, right? I think that really helps with a lot of insecurity as well. Like just taking everything for what it is and not having to really put your take on it, if that makes sense. Because that's really where the insecurity comes from. That's where you start thinking, oh, this is what might be happening. This is what could happen, you know? Whereas if you just take it for what it is, like for example, in the relationship kind of example that you gave, if you just take it for what it is, if someone's distancing themselves from you, or if you feel like that's what's happening, okay, so what? I'm everything for I must be. Is that the same? I think it is. I am everything for I must be. Yeah, I think that's right. But yeah, just take everything for what it is. Like, if you feel someone being distant, it's cool. It's okay. Like, it all happens for a reason. If you do feel like that's what's happening, so what, man? It's okay. I guess that's what other advice would I have. I feel like that was kind of crappy advice.
No, bro, that's fine. I think like the last thing I just want to like preface, is it preface is the word, yeah?
Yeah.
Easy. I just want to preface the last point that you made by saying that it's not about neglecting your partner or whatever. It's about like, obviously, like you still care for them, so you got to check up on them or whatever. But I think it's kind of just being understanding of the fact that like not everyone's going to be in your life forever, you know what I mean? People come and go and it's calm. Like at the end of the day, like, you got to value yourself, you got to love yourself. You can't make this other person your main source of happiness. They're definitely a priority in your life, but they can't, like, you have to want them in your life, not need them in your life. I guess that's the ultimate thing, you know what I mean? And I guess with relationships, one good way to address insecurities is by having open and clear communication. As like most of the time, what happens is there's no communication, so you guys are on two different pages, right? And so the one person's off thinking some other shit that's not actually happening. Meanwhile, you're thinking some other shit that's not actually happening. And like, therefore, like what's actually happening in the real world and what's happening in your minds are two different things. And so you guys coming back into the conversation or whatever, like projecting feelings that you've thought up in your mind that aren't even actually there, you know what I mean? You're thinking that she's angry at you, she's thinking that you're angry at her. And it's just like, bro, no one should, like, you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. So I think like when there's clear communication and just on an open, and you guys are on the same page, there's no need to be anxious. And when you're not anxious about yourself, and like, then you kind of know that you're enough, you know what I mean? And when you know that you're enough, there's no need to be insecure. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight or whatever, but I think over time, it's something that happens, you know what I mean? But I just think that clear communication is a good way of taking those first steps to kind of understanding, like, yo, like, is this something that we actually have to trip on? Or it's not that deep, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's kind of like just making concessions for the other person if they're more passionate about something than you are, or you're more passionate about something than they are. It's just about compromising and understanding each other's.
Yeah, 99% of the time, it's not that deep. That's what you'll come to realize.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. You'll come to, like, you'll make up such crazy scenarios in your head. You'll be like, how did I even come up with that in the first place?
Exactly. And like when you look at it from the context of, yo, like, is this argument really enough? Like, if she was to leave right now, will I even think of this argument? Or if he was to leave right now, will this argument even be a factor? You know what I mean? Like, most of the time you're like, fuck, like, this argument's so trivial in comparison to how much impact they have on my life, or how much love I, like, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of, like, all that bullshit, like like you realize how insignificant your issues really are.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So I think
we give our importance to our own problems, pretty much. Like, from someone looking outside in on your issues, they'll be like, what the hell are you even talking about, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
It's really like that. Like, if you could take a step back and look at it from another person's point of view, you realize how stupid overthinking about whatever you're thinking about really is. It's as simple as sending a message. It's as simple as like just saying it, you know. And the reason I said you gotta just like find out who you are is, for example, if you're a caring person and your insecurity is that your partner's like not okay or they're hurt, right? How else are you going to find out if they're hurt or not okay than sending them a message? Like, is like, it's that simple, you know. You
Just gotta ask him, yeah.
you thinking about if they're okay is not going to give you an answer.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, find out who you are, find out what insecurities are occurring, and that's like you said, man, communication is really like a key factor. So that's a pretty amazing tip as well.
Yeah.
Sorry for cutting in. Keep going, bro.
No. That's literally all I had to add, bro. Yeah, just communicate better, and hopefully, you guys will be fine. But yeah, it's about loving yourself. I think that's the main thing. You got to love yourself before. Like, if you don't love yourself, how are you gonna expect anyone else to love you? You know what I mean? That's the main thing. And yeah, it's all goes back to fundamental fact of you don't need people in your life. You want people in your life. You know, no one's like mandatory in your life, but it's nice to have people there. You know what I mean? Of course.
You should see the same. Or expect the same of other people from yourself. Like, you understand that you're not going to be in everybody's life forever, but for the time that you are in it, be the best person you can. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Like, and if you've done everything that you can to be a good person and whatever, and they still don't want you in their life, or it just doesn't work out, it just means it's not meant to be. Like, at least you can leave the situation knowing that, like, it was nothing that I did that led to this situation. Exactly. Yeah. Like, it just wasn't meant to be, and it's calm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, like, when you go in like that, it's just such a liberating mindset to have, because like you're not kind of like stepping over like barbed wires and shit, trying to figure out the right way to communicate, oh, I need to say this perfectly to make sure that like she'll fall for me or he'll fall for me. It's just about, this is me, this is what you get. If there's like, like I'll do my best to try to have you around, but fuck it, like if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And like, and when you go in, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be in that exact same breath. I have to say that as well. Like some things are just like, it just is whatever it is. And you just got to kind of be okay with that. And when you are, and even I think in like thinking like that, it's not about being negative either. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the kind of acceptance of, I don't know what the word is, bro. Karma, fate. I don't know. Maybe fate's the bigger word, but
just take everything
just written out for us, and we just kind of follow it through. Then that's pretty much all I have to add, bro. Did you want to add anything to wrap up, or?
No, man. That's really the tips I had, honestly. I'll probably come up with more. If I do, I might I'll just type them out in the bio, in the description or some shit like that. I'll come up with
even if you want to just film a certain part and just add it in at the end, just say, sorry, I just thought of a few more, and then just
definitely, bro. But I think we had some pretty solid advice. So
dope.
So
that's about it.
That is the 3 questions we wanted to address about insecurity. So that really sums up episode 6 for us today. I guess big shout out to you guys again for the support and love. Like, I can't say this enough. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot to both of us. We had some like crazy feedback last time, so
some mega feedback.
Big shout out to you guys. We're always looking to improve this channel and help out as many people as we can. So it's a blessing to have you guys behind us,
and we really can't wait until lockdown is all over, and then we can actually have people on, and we can like see each other in real life and do it real life, because on Zoom it is a bit hard. You know the vibes, but slowly, surely, sooner or later it'll happen. So just gotta stay tuned, I guess.
Like we're kind of getting the hang of the Zoom, but it's still not the same. Like we can't really kick off each other's vibes and have the jokes that we usually do and talk shit that we usually do. And I've been trying to change up the scenery in my room as well, because obviously it's just bland as shit. It's just white wall. So I've got some posters and shit. Hopefully they come in next week. But I'll try and get a little bit more interesting background going, because I know you guys I just don't want to stare at the same shit all day. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. The other videos will come on. We might just upload part 1, part 2, part 3 all together, and the long one all together as well. But yeah, I guess we'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know. Yeah, if you guys have any questions that you want us to answer or talk about or whatever, let us know. DMs are always open if you guys want to chat or whatever as well.
So you guys would have noticed by now, like we usually bring up topics that we have in conversation with our friends and stuff. So if you have anything that we want to talk about specifically in your life, it's going to help out other people. So don't be scared to share it with us. Don't be scared to ask for help.
For real.
Realize it's not just going to help you, it's going to help a lot of other people. So
exactly, yeah. And like we'll keep privacy and shit. Like if you don't want us to say your names, that's calm. Like we're not here to out anyone or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, have a wonderful week. Hope you guys have a blessed one. Anything else you want to add?
That's it. Hope you guys have a great one. That's really
Peace.
it.
One love. Bye.
Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.